The existence of serial killers is no longer surprising, but it is intriguing how they have existed for centuries. What is surprising, however, are the unexpected victims, as you'll see in this video. This is the story of a man whose successful life was cut short by an unforgivable act of betrayal. The details of this crime are as shocking as they are tragic, shedding light on the darkest corners of human nature. Babak Khorramdin was born in September 1974 in the Ekbatan district of Tehran, Iran. Very little is known about his upbringing. Most available information, both in English and in Persian, is about his career. Babak was a filmmaker who spent his life pursuing his passion for cinema and creating works that resonated with audiences and critics alike. His journey in the film industry was marked by a deep dedication to his craft, with recognition to match. He graduated from the Faculty of Fine Arts at the University of Tehran with a degree in cinema in 2009. In 2010, he went to London to further hone his craft and study filmmaking before returning to Iran. During his career, Babak released 8 movies total in Iran and the United Kingdom. His debut movie, a series of 3 short films titled Cut, aired in 2004 while he was still a student, showcasing his talent and commitment early on. His other releases included Bur Bijade Rang in 2007, Tuesday Mom in 2009, The Sun in 2010, his feature film debut, An Elegy for Yashar in 2013, and his final release, Being, in 2017. Although his films weren't widely known in the West, Babak's work still earned significant praise. In 2009, Bur Bijade Rang won the award for Best Foreign Short Film at the International Humanitarian Film Festival. His other works also received nominations for Best Screenplay, Cinematography, Editing, and Sound. At the 5th Parveen Etisami International Festival in 2009, he received an honorary diploma for Best Editing with Bur Bijade Rang, which continued to be his most critically acclaimed work. The film won him awards for Best Directing, Best Screenplay, and Best Sound and Audio at the 6th Nahal Student Film Festival, also in 2009. Later in his career, Babak taught filmmaking at Karaj University and shifted to online lessons after the COVID-19 pandemic. He was known for inviting his parents to award shows, and one of his movies was dedicated to his mother, in which he played a role. This makes the circumstances of his death all the more shocking and tragic. May 16th, 2021. A sanitation worker in the Ekbatan district of Tehran was cleaning out a garbage bin on Nafisi Street when he discovered a heavy bag with bloodstains inside the bin. Curious and alarmed, he opened the bag and found it wrapped around a suitcase. Inside the suitcase was a morbid discovery: human body parts, including shoulders, palms, arms, and ankles. The worker immediately called the police, who swiftly arrived at the scene. The remains were sent for forensic analysis, revealing that they belonged to a man who was between 40 and 50 years old. Forensic analysis also highlighted that the man had been deceased for only a few hours, adding an urgent and disturbing layer to the investigation. The police swung into immediate action, starting by interviewing the security guards in the area. Each apartment building in the vicinity had a garbage chute, and the guards routinely checked the garbage to make sure residents weren't disposing of stolen goods or other illegal materials. The guards informed the police that the killer likely didn't live in the area or had manually carried the suitcase to the garbage, as no suitcase had been seen in the garbage chutes. Next, the police reviewed the CCTV footage and saw an elderly man with a suitcase matching the one found in the garbage. This footage was taken from one of the nearby apartment buildings. The investigation progressed quickly. Enough of the hands and fingers remained intact for investigators to take fingerprints, which led to the identification of the partial remains as Babak Khorramdin within 6 hours of the discovery. The police went to Babak's parents' apartment to break the sad news. However, they were shocked to see that his father, 80-year-old Ali Akbar Khorramdin, bore a striking resemblance to the man in the CCTV footage. Both Ali Akbar and his wife, 74-year-old Iran Musavi Sani, claimed they didn't know what had happened to Babak or where he had gone. They said that he didn't live with them anymore and appeared neither shocked nor saddened by the news of their son's death. Growing suspicious, the police obtained additional CCTV footage from various parts of the building and questioned the neighbors. The neighbors reported regularly hearing arguments coming from the Khorramdin apartment. A search of the parents' home revealed bloodstains in the bathroom. According to more CCTV security footage, Babak had entered their apartment on May 15th but was never seen leaving. Subsequently, Akbar Khorramdin and Musavi Sani were seen with multiple bags and suitcases. The footage showed Musavi Sani struggling to keep the elevator doors open while Akbar Khorramdin carried the bags, including the suitcase that the police had found containing Babak's remains. Following a confrontation, the couple quickly confessed to their roles in this horrific crime. They claimed they planned to turn themselves in but didn't expect the investigation to conclude so soon. Whether this is true or not remains uncertain, especially given their initial feigned ignorance of their son's death. The police found more human remains in garbage bins at Ar-Yashar and Sanat Square, which, while still incomplete, matched Babak. The parents further confessed that after Babak had come to the apartment that day, Musavi Sani had drugged him with sleeping pills in his food. Once he passed out, they tied him to a bed with laces and belts and wrapped a plastic strap around his neck. He was stabbed multiple times and then moved to the bathroom to be cut up after he died. As soon as the news broke, it outraged Iran and soon became one of the country's most high-profile crimes in its history. When the public learned of the motive, they became even more infuriated as it came out that the case was a so-called honor killing. Babak's parents claimed that his unmarried status brought shame and dishonor to the family. They accused him of behaving poorly and being abusive toward them, even threatening their lives and refusing to leave them alone. Akbar Khorramdin recounted offering to sell his car and give Babak the entire inheritance if he left, only for Babak to laugh and say, "The only way I'll leave is as a corpse." Akbar Khorramdin further accused his son of having relations with unmarried women and inviting female students to his home under the guise of private lessons during the pandemic. He also alleged that Babak had begun drinking alcohol and abusing drugs, which he used to justify the murder further. Despite the horrific nature of the crime, Akbar Khorramdin expressed no remorse, standing by his belief that Babak's actions had warranted such a brutal end. The public's reaction was rightfully one of profound shock, anger, and outrage. The idea that Babak's life was taken in the name of family honor struck a deep chord across the nation. The details of the case, Babak's supposed threats, the allegations of improper conduct, and the parents' ultimate decision to end his life painted a harrowing picture of familial conflict taken to the extreme. This case not only highlighted issues of domestic violence and the extreme lengths to which notions of honor can be taken, but also sparked widespread debate and condemnation, making it one of the most talked about crimes in Iran's recent history. Then comes the twist that everyone saw coming. Babak's parents were no saints, not at all. They were suspiciously adjacent to 2 prior murder cases, or perhaps those were also honor killings. Let's take a look. As the investigation into Babak's murder continued, a disturbing history began to emerge about his parents, Ali Akbar Khorramdin and Iran Musavi Sani. Far from being the upstanding figures they initially appeared to be, they had been involved in 2 previous murder cases. These cases raised the possibility that Babak's murder was not an isolated incident, but part of a broader, disturbing pattern of violence within their family. The first of such murders was that of their son-in-law, Faramarz. Their daughter, Arzu, and Faramarz met under the most unexpected circumstances. Arzu was fresh out of a 5-year marriage. The divorce precipitated depression, and she was consequently ill. Sooner than later, she met Faramarz, and they quickly became a couple. But their relationship wasn't all bliss. They often got into many arguments, fights, so much so that they got engaged and called off the wedding, only to get back together and eventually get married. The chaos persisted, prompting Arzu to go home with a knife, threatening to end the marriage herself. In order to prevent his daughter from becoming a murderer, Ali Akbar Khorramdin decided to become one himself. He drugged, stabbed, and dismembered Faramarz, just like he later did to Babak. Reports declared Faramarz missing, and in an attempt to cover his tracks, he went to Faramarz's family to say that their son had divorced Arzu and had gone to Ashnavi to be smuggled out of the country. This led to speculation that Faramarz might have been murdered by smugglers, further derailing the accuracy of investigations. Arzu clearly wasn't serious about ending the marriage, because she was totally devastated by the news of her missing husband. On top of the depression, she also began to have trouble controlling her smoking. This soon worsened as drug abuse was added to the mix. A while later, Arzu herself went missing. When confronted about it, both Akbar Khorramdin and Musavi Sani claimed that she had run away to Istanbul, Turkey, and from there immigrated to Canada to apply for refugee status. They further mentioned that while in Canada, an outburst ended with her being involuntarily committed to a Canadian mental hospital, and because she suffered from multiple sclerosis, she was likely to pass away in Canada very soon. Nobody believed that, least of all her friends, because Arzu was in no position to just get up and leave. But the evidence wasn't enough, so the case was dismissed. Your guess is as good as mine. Arzu met the same deadly fate at the hands of her parents as her husband and later her brother. According to their defense, her substance abuse, drinking, and socializing with strangers had brought shame and dishonor to the family, justifying her murder in their eyes. However, many suspect that the real motive was to keep Arzu from discovering the truth about Faramarz. The same justification was given for the murder of Faramarz. In Akbar Khorramdin's words, it was Faramarz's own fault for his, quote, morals. The Iranian film community and Babak Khorramdin's students were deeply shaken by his tragic death. On May 26th, he was laid to rest in a cemetery reserved for artists, a testament to his impact on the industry. His funeral was attended by many who admired his work, with heartfelt tributes pouring in from fellow filmmakers and students alike. Outside his parents' home, where Babak had once lived, mourners gathered to honor his memory. They paid their respects, sang songs of mourning, and shared stories of his dedication to the creative industry. In a touching gesture, they removed the garbage bins where his remains were discovered and planted a tree in their place, symbolizing life and remembrance among the tragedy. Ali Akbar Khorramdin showed no remorse as he faced trial, but died of a heart attack in prison in November 2021 before he could be sentenced. Iran Musavi Sani initially expressed regret, but when her husband died, she claimed that she wasn't involved and that it was all his idea. She was found guilty and given a reduced sentence of 45 months imprisonment, eventually being released on amnesty after only 2 months. She spent her remaining days in a nursing home, disowned by her family and suffering from greatly declining health. Babak Khorramdin was known to be kind-hearted, creative, and, despite his father's claims, moral. Many believed that Ali Akbar Khorramdin fabricated the story of Babak's alleged misdeeds to sway public opinion in his favor. Unfortunately, the narrative will forever record that a man was killed by his parents under the guise of maintaining honor. What's even more heartbreaking is that we'll never hear Babak's side of the story and hear the truth from the falsehoods. I wish peace to those who loved Babak Khorramdin and to those whom he loved. May the truth come out one day. Now, if you want to hear about a Japanese murder that's just as disturbing and far more mysterious, check out my video on the Blue Blanket Butcher of Fukui Prefecture. Thank you for watching.